What's going on, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. So this has been a much requested tutorial for me to do. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to change the oil and do the first service on the Honda Grom. Now, unlike most motorcycles or dirt bikes, the Honda Grom doesn't actually have a serviceable oil filter. There's actually a spinner mechanism inside. If you want to get more into the technicalities of how that oil spinner actually works, go look it up somewhere else. I'm just here to show you guys how to clean it. Now, I really wish they would have had a serviceable oil filter on the Grom. I know the Z125 does. It just makes it a lot easier, and it's a little bit more peace of mind knowing that it's just that easy to change and you can put a fresh filter in there and not have to worry about it. Cleaning the oil spinner is a lot more time consuming, but it's not that big a deal, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. So I went ahead and let my Grom warm up for about 15 minutes or so. So here are the tools that I'll be using in today's video. I have this nice socket set from Blue Point. I'll have another cheaper model linked down in the description below, so if you don't already have a nice socket set, go ahead and do yourself a favor and pick one up. I have those needle nose pliers sitting here so we can get that clutch cable off. And last but not least, you're gonna need some oil to fill it back up afterwards. So if any of you guys are curious, this is the oil that I'm gonna start running in it. It's been over 1,500 miles and I've been running just regular non-synthetic oil. And now I figured I might make this switch because a lot of guys out there are running synthetic oil and they seem to do fine with that. So I went ahead and picked up this Shell Advanced Ultra 4-stroke synthetic motor oil in a 10W40. I'm not really too picky with my oil, guys. Once again, it's a Honda Grom, it's not a Lamborghini, so it's gonna run fine regardless. And also, one thing that I don't have pictured there is Loctite. You're gonna need to Loctite the 3 bolts back on the oil spinner. But that's all the tools that we'll be using today, guys. Let's get right into it. So for the purpose of this video and just being able to see everything a little bit easier, we're gonna go ahead and take this right side rear set off. It's not necessary. You can get a wrench in there, but it's kind of a pain in the neck to have to reach around back through here and get a wrench in there. So for the purpose of being able to see things better and making it easier on me, because I have some pretty big hands, we're just gonna go ahead and take it off. Before anybody says anything, yes, I know my bike is filthy. If you've seen my other videos, you know why. I ride this thing like an adventure bike. So go ahead and give me crap if you want to, but it's a Grom. This is how I treat it. This is how I love it, and I don't baby this thing at all. So taking that rear set off just really allowed me to get to these bolts a lot easier. There's a total of 9 bolts that go around the side of this cover. You're gonna have to take all of these off. So I'm gonna go ahead and break these loose really quick, and then go ahead and drain the oil. You're probably going to want to disconnect the clutch cable. So pull this cable to the left, and then you can slide it right out of that notch there. Alright guys, so I let the bike sit for a little bit to drip out some of that residual oil that was left behind. Sometimes it helps to rock the bike back and forth a little bit, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. You're not going to get all of it anyways, but just for a peace of mind I like to do that. So when you're doing any project like this and you're taking things off the bike, a helpful tip that I recommend to everyone is just to take pictures of things so you know how it's supposed to look when it's all put together. Because if you start taking bolts off, setting them here, setting them there, and then you finish the project a few hours later, a few days, whatever, and then you're like, man, I don't really remember how this goes back together. You can pull up that picture, look at it, remember where things go, and it can help remind you of where things are supposed to go. We're gonna go ahead and pull that side cover off to access the spinner and see what it looks like. So all of these bolts are actually the same size, so you don't have to worry about the order if you get them confused, but I kind of set them there in sequence just in case one was a little bit longer or thicker, etc. So you don't have to worry about that. Alright guys, so we got all those bolts out. This should just be able to wiggle loose and come right off. I don't see any metal chunks laying down in the case, so that's a good sign. So here's the actual spinner itself. You're going to want to take these 3 10mm bolts out of here and access this. I actually wedged a penny in between the gears right there, which is a softer metal, so you don't have to worry about it scarring anything up. Just don't lose it in there. I've seen some guys just put their socket wrench on here and kind of beat on it. So this is a little bit safer of a way to do this, and I think it's going to work just fine. There's a pretty good amount of buildup in here of different kinds of gunk and metal shavings, so I'm glad I did this. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that out with a lint-free paper towel, and then we're gonna go ahead and pull out that screen filter and clean it off as well. So this is what the stuff looks like that I wiped out of it. It's a mixture of metal shavings and gunk from the oil. Not too bad, honestly. I'm really curious to see what that screen looks like. Not bad at all, guys. This is after 1,500 miles of riding this bike. This is the first time that I've ever cleaned this out. That's pretty frowned upon. It's recommended to do it with your first service around 600 miles. And then again, I've seen other people's that are a completely different story. I've seen people pull these things out at 300 miles completely caked with metal shavings. I'm honestly kind of amazed because I did a really hard break-in on this bike. I beat the living crap out of it from the day that I drove it out of the dealership up until now. So I'm very happy with the way that everything went. I could have not asked for a better break-in of this bike. Everybody's gonna look different. Yours might have way more buildup than mine and you did an easy break-in. It really just depends on a million different factors. I didn't even do the first oil change until 1,000 miles. So all of you guys that are out there changing your oil after every ride, doing all of this maintenance, there's so many different variables that come into play, and this is a perfect example of that. I haven't taken great care of this bike, but everything still looks good. It's running beautifully, it has great compression, and it's a small engine from Honda, so what can you expect? Other than that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and blow that screen out and get some of that residue off there. Then we're gonna go ahead and throw all these parts back on the bike and finish it up. Now, when you're reinstalling this cover on there, these 3 bolts need to be Loctited. What that means is you're gonna have to wait for the Loctite to dry before you put the oil in. Also, before reinstalling this cover, make sure that your gasket is intact. If it has a small tear in it, I really wouldn't worry about it, guys. If it ends up leaking, just go ahead and get the new gasket. I managed to get mine off without damaging it at all, so I'm not gonna have any problem with mine. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Go ahead and leave a like for me. It really helps me in the search results and gets my video out there. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. There might be something you like. I post a lot of Grom content, dirt bike content, pretty much anything with wheels I like doing videos on. I post pretty much daily, so there'll always be good content coming your way. I'm not gonna bore you guys with clips of me reinstalling everything that I already just showed you how to take off. So if you need to, just go back in the video if you don't remember something and see which part goes where. This is very easy to do yourself, so don't pay the dealership to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know by leaving a comment below. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.